So I'm just taking this video to document how I fixed this elliptical cross trainer. It's a True Fitness m50, I think. I couldn't find any service manuals, but there are lots of videos of people fixing similar equipment. They all have the same sort of principle of how they change their resistance. And by the way, these just pull off, and then you can access the screws. And there are also screws in the side that are recessed in, and it's a bit tricky to find them at first. And so we have a whole bunch of screws. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 screws. And there's also a couple of screws to secure the resistance servo motor. This servo motor, I believe, consists of a motor inside it with a worm drive, most likely, that's turning this thing to different positions. And that's, you can see the part number there, M100A. And this is a new one that I bought on eBay, because you can't seem to buy new ones anymore. So the motor operates that, and it also turns a potentiometer, which is here, which presumably produces a voltage divider effect, which probably gives it like a reference voltage to up there, to tell up there what resistance setting that it's on. So there's the old one, by the way, and got the same coloured 5 conductors coming out of it. And there's your motor there, and there's your potentiometer there. I had to cut a cable tie to get these wires out of the way, to access the connector for that. No soldering was required, it's just unplugging a connector. So what happens with these machines, as you will see in multiple other videos, is we have a flywheel here, and there is a magnet which acts as a brake. Now at the moment it's in the highest resistance position, so the magnet's right up against the flywheel pretty much. And then as you turn the resistance down, this turns, pulling that down. What I find here with this particular machine is this is kind of flapping in the breeze. I can actually, with a bit of force, I can pull that out, and it just kind of clips in there. And there's just a cable that sits in that hole there, and the other end of the cable sits in that hole there, and this sits in this plastic stuff here. And the thing is, when you first power it up, the motor will move into some position, I think maybe like 1 or 2 on the numbers there, if you can see that. But what you need to do is turn up your machine, the resistance level, all the way up to the highest setting, which in this machine is 25. And that turns, obviously have all plugged in and powered up, and that will turn this that way, so anti-clockwise, I guess, and that will loosen up this whole assembly so that you can actually unhook that from there and that from here, or, you know, hook it in or to install the new motor. But that's the important thing when you turn it on. It needs to think that it's in the highest setting, and for the pulley to be accessible. And then you hook it all up, which was a little tricky because this just sort of flaps in the breeze. There doesn't seem to be anything really holding it there. But I might just try to video what happens when you change the resistance. Hopefully you can see this. So it's 125 and it's down to 24. I'm going to keep pressing it until it goes all the way down to 1. And hopefully you can see that magnet is coming down. And so now it's on a low resistance setting. I can easily move those pedals without much effort. And I'm just going to move you over to the other pulley so you can see that as well. Just going to turn it up to higher resistance. Now we're on 15, which is definitely more difficult. All the way up to 25. And boy, can you feel the difference there. So that's on the highest resistance once again, and you can see that the magnet is all the way up against the flywheel there. Anyway, so quite easy to fix actually. One eBay seller was sternly warning me to get a technician out to see this. Well, we're in Australia, you can't get a technician to walk over your doorstep for less than $150. It just seems like a complete rip-off when the motor itself cost me $100. Anyway, for $100 and, you know, an hour of troubleshooting and watching videos, I thought that was a pretty good deal. And now the machine is working again, so see, that's our model there. I don't know if you could see it, but there you go. So yeah, a nice little fix. And you can still buy these motors as new old stock. I also noticed there are Chinese sellers selling another motor. I have no idea if it's the same dimensions, but who knows, maybe it works just fine. It seems to have the same connections, the same 5 wires coming out of it. I guess if this thing broke and there were none of these available, I'd probably have no choice but to buy one of the Chinese ones and see if it works. Anyway, we'll see how long this one lasts. And there are videos of people actually opening this thing up and fixing things inside it, which I have not attempted yet. It looks quite tricky, but I actually did try to open up the old one and I actually couldn't get into it, so but I didn't try very hard, so maybe if I tried a bit harder I could possibly have serviced the old one. Anyway, I hope somebody finds that useful. Thank you.